Hello and welcome to the Digital Marketing Masterclass. My name is Chris Carr. I'm the CEO of Farotech. Today we have a really exciting show for you. I have with me Mr. Todd Smith. Todd Smith is our VP of Partner Growth. He is the man when it comes to understanding how to help companies generate leads, nurture leads, convert leads, and then push them back into a referral system to turn that funnel into a flywheel. Today, we are talking about low competition keywords and where most companies fail. And so, Todd, welcome back to the show, pal.
Chris, thanks for having me. This has been a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Hey, but before we get too far, I just wanted to remind our viewers and listeners that they need to like, subscribe, and click on that notification bell down there or over here somewhere. Just click on it because it's on the page somewhere. We do this all the time. Being in the business, you know, the first thing we love to do is obviously we like to get new customers, but we love to educate either our prospects or customers on new technologies out there. You know, we're constantly learning all the time. So it's so cool to, you know, learn experiences from other customers and then share that with other customers as long as they're not competitors.
It's just like that weird karma, right? Like, so we go and it's like, hey, you know what we're going to do is we're going to be teaching about low competition and authority. And then you and I are jumping on a sales call and it's just like, oh my gosh, this is gonna be the exact same thing I'm teaching about in like 2 days. I'm like, dude, I'm going to send you a video because it's like your exact situation.
Yeah, definitely. And it comes up all the time. So it's funny that you brought up low competition keywords. The biggest thing that we see is people tend to fail at this. So like, why do you think this is such a tough concept to grasp?
Well, I think a lot of times that they've been sold a bill of goods from either an old SEO company or they read a couple blogs and they think they have it figured out.
Yeah.
You know? And I think the other problem that you have here is there's just got a lot of content out there. And so even if you're trying to reduce it down to a very manageable system, you know, I mean, I think there's one blog for every 7 people in the United States or in the world or something.
I think it's the world. Yeah.
Let's think about that.
That's a lot.
You are a needle in a stack of needles. And I know we say that analogy on sales calls and in other podcasts. It's crazy, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then, you know, I think Go Globe every single year puts out those metrics that show how much content is literally produced every single minute. It's like astounding. Like, it's like 700 hours of watchable content every minute on Facebook and YouTube and stuff like that. And so the problem is, unfortunately, is that the blogs and even a video like this is going to give you a DIY, do it yourself, a DIY.
DIY, yeah. Mm-hmm. Yep.
And I'm not so sure in a world with that much content that unless you are really committed to your craft, that you can do it yourself. You can. It'll take longer. It'll take more experimenting, but you know, it's starting to get really competitive out there.
It's competitive. Yeah. So tell us, or tell the viewers why, you know, low competition keywords might be a good way to get started in the SEO world.
Well, you know, let me share my screen real quick.
Sure.
So go here. I did this analogy. We do this on our sales calls all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Just want to confirm you can see my screen.
Yeah, and that's the skyline of Philadelphia. Yes.
Yeah. Yep.
So it's kind of a recent picture too, because that's the new Comcast building.
I know. You know what? I showed this
that was
for
awesome.
Years, and the people in Philadelphia are like, "Dude,
you're missing something." Dude, that's like 3 years ago.
I know exactly. Yep. So let me kind of walk you through what I'm talking about here. So when you're looking at something like this, when I go and, sorry, let me see if I can go more full screen. When I do this type of thing, what I'm looking at is most companies want the biggest possible keywords in the industry. They've either been sold a bill of goods from an SEO company, or logically they say, these keywords bring in a ton of traffic. You know what I mean? And they're not wrong. They're not wrong for wanting them. But the reality is that for many people in a lot of industries, even if you're not trying to outrank your competition, you might even be trying to gobble up the same word that people in parallel different industries, you know, like parallel companies still want. Do you know what I mean? Like sometimes you're not, it's sometimes your competition isn't your worst enemy. It's like someone else who's just in your industry or in your space in general.
Yep.
And so what happens here is that we're looking for those low competition keywords. This is a piece of software we use called Sem Rush. Really good piece of software. There's multiple different softwares that are like it, but we have a knack for finding keywords that have really high search volume with less competition. But then they also, this critical number here deals with what we call keyword difficulty. And so when you work with a subject matter expert, they know how to find these keywords that the average person just can't find. And the reality is that most companies start out and they're all competing for that 20% of overall search traffic, because they don't realize that, you know what, there's about 70% of all the search that could possibly be coming to your website comes from long tail keywords. These are highly specific 4 to 6 word phrases, you know? And so what happens is that they really want to go after those bigger keywords, and I don't blame them, but if they don't have the correct authority, they're never going to get them.
Yeah.
But what's also great about why you're investing in long tail, in a long tail approach, is because we have a lot of metrics that show the broader the keyword, the less likely they are to convert. But when you get very hyper specific about the keywords we're selecting, you're going to have to get on the first page of Google for tons of words, but those words will convert. You know what I mean? Like knee replacement compared to how long does it take? How long does knee replacement surgery take? Those are very different questions. And if you're looking for a buyer persona that you're hoping has a high surgical conversion rate, I would probably invest in these longer tail keywords, because the journey to conversion is considerably faster.
Yeah, that's interesting. I think the one thing that you mentioned that our viewers might want to get a little more information on is, you said authority. Now, it makes me think of a couple things, but I was thinking of a conversation we had with a client last week. $20 million company, really successful, having some really, good growth in the last couple of years. But when we started to really dig into their website and a lot of their search results, we found out that the authority just wasn't there. So it almost is, I guess you have to figure out whether like web traffic is super important to the business for growth. That's kind of step one. So are you getting, just referrals from doctors and you don't really need web traffic? Or like, do you have a distributor network that's basically, sending you leads and the website's just there for information? Or
sometimes it's like a validation tool. Like, for example, we have clients that sell employee benefits.
Yeah.
And there might be some value to SEO, but say I have 1,000 employees. A lot of times people aren't making a $100,000 decision based upon the first person that comes up in Google.
Okay.
Do you know what I mean?
That makes sense. Right. But, so get back to the authority piece. So how does that authority piece sort of work hand in glove with the keyword piece? Like what's that relationship?
Yeah. Well, one of the things that we're looking to do, let me go back to this. I'll try to use as many analogies as possible. You know what I mean? So let's go here. One of the things that you need to realize is that how long does it take to rank? And I'm going to get to your question by answering this. I don't know that you know who this is. This is Neil Patel. He's kind of like Elvis in our industry. He's going to say those low competition keywords are going to rank in about 121 days.
So 4 months.
Yep. Medium competition keywords, 304 days, and high competition, 365 days. If you don't have authority, like, don't even worry about high competition. And you might not even be able to worry about medium competition, because you essentially haven't done this. So what happens here is we're going to look for those keywords that have real high visibility, but low competition.
Low difficulty.
Low difficulty. And let's pretend like all of those keywords, we're going to ignore those skyscrapers and we're going to go after all of the land other than the skyscrapers, right? Once you're on the first page of Google for tons and tons of keywords, right? You're going to be in a scenario here where you've developed enough authority. And by developing enough authority, you sort of earn the right to be heard in the eyes of Google. And then later on, as you build authority, you are able to go after those medium-sized keywords and those those keywords that are a little bit broader, if you really believe that search volume is going to be, worth the effort and the competition. But when you have no authority, and you can find out, like you keep saying authority, literally you have a domain authority, and you can use a tool like Moz. You can use any tool, like those are free downloads, they're Chrome plugins, and you can go to your own website and find out how much authority I have. And so what happens here is the more authority I have, the more, I'm using broad terms here, the more authority I have, the quicker my keywords are going to rank bigger, stronger, and faster.
Gotcha. Okay.
Now,
so how do you actually get that authority though? Like, what's that process look like?
Yep. Well, we find that there's a number of different things that we do. Getting on the first page of Google for the keywords that have less competition, that's going to be a factor. Okay. Using citations to make sure that you have all of your name conveyed accurately with name, address, and phone number and directories is going to be a big thing. Okay. But the biggest thing and the holy grail of all this is backlinks from authority websites. Definitely. And that's an art and a science. And we unpack that a lot in our podcasts, but it's those authority, those authority pieces. It's those authority pieces that are going to really be important.
Okay. That makes perfect sense. So let me ask you another question. How does all of this, because, it's great to talk keywords, great to talk authority, right? But a lot of our customers, they come down to one thing. They say, look, we're going to spend X amount of dollars with you monthly, upfront, monthly, whatever that is. What does that look like in terms of growth or like dollars and cents? So how does somebody sort of take all this information that might sound like mumbo jumbo, like keyword, low competition, authority, right? But really at the end of the day, like, that's your business. You take care of that for me. What I'm really after is I want to grow my company. I want to grow sales. I will, like you said before, I want to get that flywheel going. So like what's a good example of, content growth as it relates to like sales growth?
I think one of the challenges you have to do is you have to look at your staff. And let's say hypothetically you're a company and you've got a marketing guy or gal. All of this stuff is interrelated. So, you have SEO, and it's going to be improved by how you promote and use social media, some paid advertising. You might think that they're not related. They're related. And the problem is that if you have one guy or gal running all this stuff, they don't have enough time to write content, be a subject matter expert in SEO, and do the other parallel things that are all going to improve SEO. Content promotion in itself is it's crazy how much time that takes and just the research that it takes. But let's try to go into a case study. Again, let's kind of give you an example. So, we're going to go back to this story here. So this was a client that we had. They went after those long-term keywords. We were able to increase the number of keywords by over 400%. These are the keywords that were on number one, that are now number one on page one. We did that over the course of 3 to 4 years. And then we increased their traffic that were the keywords that were number one on page one by almost 247%. Now you got to think, okay, that's a lot of keywords. Keywords don't bring traffic, and traffic, I need the end goal. I need sales. So let's just look at their blog alone. On their blog, we were able to increase traffic by about 1,611%, from around 63,000 visitors to 1 million visitors. Page views, we increased that by about 10 times, it's 1,132%. Now, did it work? Let's take a 2-year subset of that. We were able to have 2,911 conversions that equated to $873,000 worth of revenue. Let me kind of break that down. 2,911 conversions multiplied by that $300 value of a first-time appointment turned into $873,000 worth of first-time appointments, not surgeries, not anything like that. Now, when you take it one step farther for the whole website, we increased traffic by about 38% month over month. And then from there, that turned into around 44,000 plus conversions. And that turned into between 13 and $14 million worth of new revenue of first-time appointments.
That's pretty serious. Okay.
Yeah. So, I mean, one of the things that I'm trying to say is that when you are really serious about growing your marketing, right, you got to develop that editorial calendar, and you have to constantly commit to doing that. But you have to know your keywords, and you got to know how low competition works, keyword difficulty works. And you got to figure out, if I have a low competition keyword, but that keyword doesn't come close to a buying cycle, you got to figure out what's the distance from the pin. You know, like you golf all the time.
Yep.
Would you rather take a 20-foot putt or a 2-foot putt?
Sometimes a 20-foot putt. The 2-footers hurt sometimes. No, but in most cases, I'd rather have a close putt. Yes.
Yeah, but I mean, well, if I'm gonna say a long-term keyword is, I don't even know, like symptoms of knee pain, right?
Yeah.
Symptoms of knee pain.
Yep.
Still a pretty good keyword. Would probably want to have that. Or I would say, you know, how long does it take to recover from, or we talk about how long does it take to recover from knee surgery?
Sure.
That person doesn't ask that question unless he's ready to get cut.
Yep. That's a good point.
Literally.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So selecting your intent. Other things that we talk about and we're going to unpack later is buyer's journey. You know what I mean? If you put all of your keywords towards the decision level stage, you know, like the people who are just dipping their toe in are like, dude, I don't want to get cut.
Definitely.
Is there anything else I can do first?
Definitely. Yeah. So that's the awareness, consideration, and decision. Absolutely. Yep. Yeah. We have another show that we talked about that. Cool. Well, Chris, thank you for your time. And any last thoughts? I know this like when you see those terms like 3 months or, you know, almost a year or 4 months to get going, like it's kind of daunting. And any last like sort of bit of encouragement that you could give?
Yeah. Don't get scared about that from the aspect of if you have to try to get one keyword to rank and then wait a year to see whether it ranks, be worried. Yeah. But a good system is set up so that you develop an editorial calendar and you have a lot of irons in the fire, and that every piece of content that you write
is helping
might
the other one.
Get 5 to 10 different keywords to rank.
Okay.
Because I'm going to find that core keyword. I'm going to find those LSI or ancillary keywords that are related to it. And then what you can also do is that blogs will be connected to each other and they all help each other. It's like, you know, high tides rise all ships or whatever that expression is. Yep. Don't get worried. The next thing I will say though, is speak with a professional. Like if I cannot fix my sink for the life of me. I need to hire a guy to come out and do some of the most basic things in my house.
Yep, me too.
SEO is more difficult than that. So like have a consultation, even if you're not even ready to buy, like know what you don't know.
Okay. Yep. That's good advice. Well, thank you very much. I appreciate your time. And, viewers out there, thank you for joining the Digital Marketing Masterclass presented by Farotech. I'm going to remind you one more time, like us, subscribe to us, and click on that notification button. Thank you very much.